Well, hello, you lovely people. My name's Music. I'm just going to have a little conversation with no one. No one's sitting in front of me. But we're going to have a little talk about prisons and why it's important that we have them. Now, they need to be reformed. I absolutely 100% agree with that. But let me give you a little background on me. I was a 2001. I became a prison guard. I was a prison guard for 15 years. I did several, I guess you could call them tours in Texas prisons all across the state. I've worked in naturalization prisons where you hold illegal aliens and they wait there to be deported back to Mexico or wherever they came from. I've worked in private prisons, the actual state prisons. I've been everywhere. I've seen a lot of stuff. But I just want to tell you a little story about a guy that I met that was an inmate. And we were doing what they call a chain. And that's where they come in from the county jails all over the place. And they come into the actual main prison and they sit there in front of you and you write their name down, you get all their information. And I'm a conversator. I'd already been doing it for a couple of years, so I felt safe doing it. And I had a conversation with him and I said, after a while, we were talking about, Pink Floyd and just BSing about things. And while I was writing his information down and getting all the stuff checked out and giving him stuff to live with here at this new prison he was at. And just out of nowhere, I just said, "Hey, man, what are you in for?" And he seemed like a good dude. He was a white guy, blue eyes, blue hair, or white hair, seemed like a pretty good dude. And he looked me straight in the eye with no emotion whatsoever, none, absolutely none, just like doll's eyes. And he said, I shook my 6 month old son to death because he wouldn't be quiet. I didn't really know what to say. And I'm not one who is at a lack for words. it it really, when you're sitting in front of evil like that, when they have no emotion, just almost a smile on his face looking at you saying those kind of things, it's scary. What do we do with people like that? Where do we put them? Because I mean, that's just disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting what that man did. And there are others. I've met more child molesters, pedophiles, rapists, a couple of murderers. But more than not, they were pedophiles. And more than not, they were aggressors. These aren't good people that are in prison. There might be a few, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Nobody that's in prison, other than people, and I'm going to tell you this now, people who are in there for drugs that are nonviolent, they don't need to be in there. I'm sorry. Absolutely not. Because you're mixing in people that, oh my God, I got caught with a joint. I'm going to jail for 2 years. Now you're putting that guy in there with people who are very, very evil and very, very bad. And they're going to learn, or they're not, or they're going to get hurt. Okay? Bad stuff goes on in there. Bad stuff. I've seen some crazy things. I saw a guy, I don't know if you know what a jack mackerel is, but it comes in a pretty good sized can, about the size of two fists. And they'll put them in socks and they'll beat each other to death with them. Well, not death, but they'll beat each other up with them. I was a, I don't know what they call it now, but back then it was called an evidence officer. And there was only three of us on the unit that could come in and do these things and collect evidence, take pictures before the TDC monitor, or if it was a TDC unit, they were there with us. And I got called in at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon after I'd already been working for 18 hours. I'd only been home for a couple of hours, about to go to sleep, and I got called back in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I go in, and my captain said, "Get the camera or the video camera." We had to videotape everything. Get the video camera and get your stuff and go down and document the rec hall, which is just a big gymnasium with a big giant bathroom in it. And I had to go in the bathroom and document something. They didn't tell me what it was. And I was only 22 years old, 23 years old at this time, and hadn't really seen much. I'd been in the Navy, but you didn't see this kind of stuff in the Navy. So I head down there Got to the rec hall, walk into the bathroom, and there's blood everywhere. And I'm talking puddles of blood everywhere. And you could see handprints on the wall. You could see footprints in the blood where you could see the struggle. And it took my breath away. I just couldn't believe that a human being could do that. Or no, it was more than one human being. It was about 7 human beings doing this to one human being. They caved his head in with a weight bar. I had to stand there and document all of it. I had to get at least 10 minutes of videotape. So I had to stand there and stare at this and wonder what had happened in here. These people, they're not normal. Not all of them. Some of them were really good guys. Some of them were really good guys. They just got in a bad spot. But there are some in there. There are some there you do not want out here with us. You do not want them out here with us. So unless you have something better, I can't think of anything better than prison. They need work. They need reform. They need to be fixed. Absolutely. Private prisons, the way it's set up right now, there's not much we can do about those because the states that have private prisons in them have so much money invested in them, and it's cheaper to send inmates to private prisons than to take care of them through the state. And I don't know what we can do about those, but it does need reform in the sense of separating the different inmates from each other. If you go to prison for assaults, you need to go to prison with other people who commit assaults. They don't need to mix you in with drug offenses. If you murdered somebody, you get to be with the guys with the assault. If you're a pedophile, and I got some strong feelings about pedophiles. I'm a little biased. I'm not going to say what I think about that, but when it comes to putting them in prisons, they need to be put in their own. They need to have their own prison because they are in the most danger and they cause the most problems. Not on their own, but they find out why you're in there. And when an inmate finds out why you're in there and they find out that you're in there for messing around with kids, that's pretty much the end of the line for you. They don't take kindly to that. Now, I'm going to tell you one more story. And this happened back in 2001. It's September 11th. I was working at the prison. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not all monsters in there. They absolutely are not. I stood there in a pod that's usually a pod is a place, it's like a day room where they all live and they all gather to watch TV. And I stood there amongst around 70 to 75 inmates. And we were watching the TV when the towers came down. And these scary, monstrous men, some of them teared up, some of them were outraged, some were yelling at the TV. We got to do something about this. So, first and foremost, what you need to understand, they're not all monsters. They're Americans. Yes, they're inmates. They've messed up. But there are some in there that need to be in there forever. Thank you.